Hey, it's Rachel Cooke, your modern mentor. I'm the founder of Lead Above Noise, where we help leaders rethink how the work gets done, like in ways that are hyper-productive, but that also keep people well and engaged. We deliver the tools and skills so that leaders learn to build human goodness into the work, instead of relying on programs outside the work to fix overwhelm and burnout. If your organization is ready for some fresh approaches to working, learn more about my speaking, workshops, and coaching programs at leadabovenoise.com. Okay, on to today. So I have this really visceral memory from my childhood. Like, I'd get invited to a birthday party for somebody I knew from camp or soccer or somewhere outside of school. And I'd show up excited until I realized that I was the odd woman out. Everybody there knew each other. They had inside jokes and shared history, and I was extra. I'd end up kind of hovering awkwardly, maybe playing with the dog or helping the mom in the kitchen, just trying to look busy so it didn't look too awkward for everybody else. The birthday kid in these cases always had the best intentions. They wanted me there. But as an adult, I look back and I realize what was actually happening. It was never clear what the purpose of that party was. Like, if the purpose was for them to celebrate with everyone they loved, then a better solution would have been a party for school friends and maybe a separate hangout with me. But if the purpose was to bring all of their favorite people together and actually connect us, then maybe there could have been a more connective activity at the party, something that included everyone. I am not throwing shade at children's birthday parties, and I am not here to process my childhood wounds. That's what my therapist is for. But this idea of bringing people together meaningfully has been on my mind a lot lately, because I think we do the same thing at work all the time. We gather people for meetings, offsites, project kickoffs, team check-ins, and we generally have good intentions. We want collaboration, alignment, connection, but we're not clear about what we're actually trying to create. So people show up and sit through it, and they leave feeling like something was just off. Like it could have been better, but maybe nobody is sure how. A few years ago, I read Priya Parker's book, The Art of Gathering, and it's really shifted how I think about this, and it's been on my mind lately. What I love about her approach to gathering is that it's not about massive overhauls, but about small intentional shifts that can turn a forgettable gathering into one that really matters. And I think we're all hungry for that right now. Not dramatic transformation, but just gatherings, whether business or personal, where people actually feel like the time together was purposeful and some kind of outcome gets achieved. So today, I want to share some of the principles that have stuck with me from that book. I think they can help us do a better job. You don't have to use all of them, but if you've got a conversation or a meeting coming up where you want to see something happen, think about infusing something here and see what shifts. First, get clear on what you're trying to achieve. Often we pick a topic and we turn it into a meeting, like budget planning. Then we simply invite the 25 people who have any connection to budget planning to a meeting. When what we should be doing is saying, what about the budget are we looking to achieve? Is it about determining what budget is available and necessary? Is it about making decisions on how we allocate those funds? Is it about determining whether we need to hire new people to execute that budget plan? These are all different but related questions, and each may require a different set of people to be in the room. If we're saying we're here to decide how to allocate Q3 funds, we may need executive decision makers in the room. But if we're here to understand where we overspent last quarter, this might be about finance and data being in the room. And if we're here to brainstorm ways to cut costs without losing capability, we may want our HR people in the room. We don't necessarily need all of those people for all of those things. We need to be focused on what we're trying to achieve and whose contributions are critical. When you're clear on what you're trying to do, you become more informed about who needs to be there and who doesn't, what data needs to be on hand, what pre-work needs to get done. And people can come ready to make the decision or take the action that needs to be made. Next, be willing to generously exclude people. This one can feel uncomfortable. We want to be inclusive. We don't want people to feel left out. But Parker argues that people who don't serve the purpose of your gathering are actually detracting from it. We're wasting their time and our own, even when they are wonderful people who mean only the best. Because what happens is they come in the room, you're trying to include them, but you are going to stop and explain context. You're going to adjust the conversation to make sure they're not lost. You're going to feel uncomfortable when they are sitting there silently. And all of that pulls energy and attention away from what you're there to do. So if you're gathering to make a decision, don't invite people who aren't critical to the making of that decision. If you're there to solve a specific problem, don't invite people who don't have direct experience with it. You can catch them up afterward on what they need to know. This isn't about being exclusive or playing favorites. It's about being protective of the people who need to be there and protecting the time of the people who don't. This is generous exclusion. It is generous to your gathering and to the people in it to be thoughtful about who belongs. Next, start in a way that draws us in. Really, how do most of your meetings start? Is it maybe with an agenda, some quick logistics? I know, snore. Listen, if your meeting truly is just a set of updates or logistics, it's totally fine. But if you're looking to have a more meaningful dialogue, to unlock ideas or build trust around an idea, or really hear people's questions or concerns, then you owe them something a little richer. It can be super fast, light and silly, but also make it on purpose. Like when I'm running a gathering on, let's say, how to make hard decisions, I'll start with a really quick round of would you rather. You know, that goofy kids game where you have to answer whether you'd rather be constantly followed around by a marching band always playing your theme song or a mime mimicking your every move. I love it because it gets people thinking, talking, connecting, laughing, and it's warming up our decision-making muscles, even if it's in a silly way. Like, give me literally 3 minutes here and you will see a change. You're not trying to be dramatic or create some big production. You're trying to signal that this time together could actually matter if we let it. That there are people here who care about something real. Next, set rules that move you further faster. These pop-up rules are temporary guidelines specific to your gathering that create the conditions you actually need to achieve what you need to achieve. If you don't set rules, someone else will. Somebody will dominate the conversation or stay glued to their laptop. Someone won't speak at all. And these behaviors become the culture of your gathering, whether you meant them to or not. So be clear about what this space needs. Maybe you say something like, laptops are closed for the next hour. We need everyone present. Or, hey, if you disagree with something, say it now. No sidebar conversations in the hallway after. Or, everyone shares one idea before we start critiquing. This isn't about being controlling or rigid, but about being intentional, naming what needs to be true for real connection or work to happen. And finally, end sticky. Most meetings end with, okay, I'll send notes, or thanks everyone, and then people scatter, and the conversation evaporates the second we walk out the door. Try instead looking inward and then turning outward. Looking inward means pausing to reflect. What's one thing that's sitting with you from this conversation? Or what's something that surprised you today? And then turning outward means connecting it forward. Based on what we talked about, what is one thing you're going to do differently? Or how does this change what we're working on next week? It takes, again, maybe 3 to 5 minutes, but it's the difference between a conversation people forget by dinner time and one that actually stays with them, that they hold themselves accountable to. And this shifts something. Look, I'm not saying you need to transform every meeting on your calendar. Some meetings can stay transactional. That is fine. But I think most of us have at least a few gatherings coming up where we're hoping for something more, where we want real thinking or alignment or connection. And the good news, again, is that you don't need a massive overhaul. You just need to infuse a few of these principles in. Small shifts can deliver bigger impact. So pick one upcoming gathering and give one of these strategies a try. See what changes. I hope something in this episode has sparked an idea for you. And if it did, I'd love to hear about it. Shoot me a note at rachel@leadabovenoise.com and tell me what you're trying. You can follow Modern Mentor on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Find and follow me on LinkedIn. Thanks so much for listening and have a successful week. Modern Mentor is a quick and dirty tips podcast. Thanks to the QDT team, audio engineer Dan Farabend, director of podcasts Holly Hutchings, ad operations specialist Morgan Christensen, marketing manager Rebecca Sebastian, and our marketing contractor Nat Hoops.